Hi everybody, today a quick video to show how to connect a soil moisture sensor to the AutomationHat board. The soil moisture sensor that we are going to connect is this one and is an analog sensor. You can see it has three inputs, three pins, and one is analog output, one is VCC and the other is ground. VCC will be connected to the 5 volts. Here is the AutomationHat board, and as you can see in this row it has 5 analog inputs that can go from 0 to 5 volts. It has also another analog input here, and this one can accept input from 0 to 15 volts. We will use some of these input to collect the data from the sensor. I just loaded the Hygrometer 4 software in the SD card, and then this is the Raspberry, and now I connect the AutomationHat board. Let me connect properly. Here we are. And then we can connect the sensor. I have 2 sensors here. Indeed, it's the same type, but here I put the connection with a longer cable. It's around 1.5 meters. Okay, so let's connect. Sensor to analog 0, AN0. So the yellow one is the data, it should go with AN0. Then the red one with 5 volt and the black one with ground. It's very easy connection. And here we do the same with the AN1. Here we are. Now let's power on the system. The Hygrometer software that I'm running is an open source software, and you can download for free in the website. I put the link into the description of this video. So we need just a few seconds before the software load into the Raspberry, and then we will enter the interface and see the reading. Now the system should be loaded, so we should see in our Wi-Fi network a new network with the name Hygrometer 4. So let's connect to it. So this network is not going to internet. So in some computer you will get a warning that it's not connected to internet, but it doesn't matter, this should only connect to the Wi-Fi. So now we have the connection. Let's type the default address. Here we are. Let's put the default password and log in. Okay, so this is the initial screen that we see when we have a clean installation. The first thing we have to do is we have to adapt the software to the specific board. So we go to Hardware Setting, and then under the section Select and Load Preset Hardware Config, we have to choose the right board, that in this case is AutomationHat V10, and then Apply. Okay, we get confirmation a new configuration has been loaded. So now let's go to Setting. As you can see, there is analog 0 to 4, and then also analog 5, that is 15 volt. And this corresponds to the input that we have seen before. Now let's just test analog 0. You can see it is reading 2.85 volts. Now let's see what happened to analog 1, where we connected the other sensor. And you can see that it's reading 282. that is exactly in line with what you expect. And then let's pick the analog 4, for example, and see what happens when the pin is not connected. And we read 0. So everything is going as expected. One thing I want to point out is that this type of sensors have some issues. I purchased quite a lot of them, and I have to say that 50% of them did not work. Moreover, there is another version of this sensor that is called version 2, 2.0, and that one didn't work 100%. It means that it just broke after a few minutes of working, giving some random reading after that. I have to say, please be conscious of this. Sometimes you can think that your board configuration is not right, but as you have seen, this is very easy to configure. Another thing you can do to test if the input of the board are working properly, you can take a jumper and connect the one of the analog input with once with the ground and once with 5 volts. So let's say we can test the analog 4, and now it's not connected with anything. Let's take the reading, it's 0. So now I connect the analog 4 with 5 volts. You see, the reading is now 4.99. That is not exactly 5 volts, but it's very close. And then I can check again, putting the jumper in short circuit with the ground, and we have the 0 reading. So with one jumper you can do a very simple test and check if the input is working. If the input is working, as this is just an analog input and you don't see a good reading, it means that the sensor has some issues. Let's just quickly move ahead and put the sensor in the water to see how the input change. So let's take the analog 0. Now the reading is 2.84, and let's put the sensor into the water. As you can see, the reading now is 1.66. So it means that we have a variation of the voltage, and this indicative that the sensor is working. Indeed, now we can calibrate the system in the way that the reading go from 0 to 100 and is easier to read. So let's go back in the setting page. We can go to calibration, so sensor calibration. This is analog 0, minimum is 1.66, max is 2.84, scale let's put 100, and offset nothing. And then this one is important because the system likes if the hygrometer provide higher input when there is water and lower input when it is dry. In this case, the sensor works in the opposite way, so we have to select IM, that is inverse, stand for inverse, and we can save. And now let's go back and see the reading that now it should be calibrated. Let's read it. Okay, so we have 100%. Then let's remove it from the water. Try to dry a little. And you can see it goes to 0. Let's try with to hug the sensor with the hand just to see if Yes, so increase to 50%. Great. Okay, so that's it. This is how you configure the sensor. Of course, you have also the auto watering section where you can associate the sensor input to the irrigation output. So in such case, the irrigation will be controlled by the sensor. You can find all the information how to set up the auto watering in my website. The link is in the video description. I hope this video was useful and thank you for watching.